Oh, ladies and gentlemen, rock fans out there, welcome back to another MPJ Rock Album Review Show with my wonderful panel, Simon, Will, Trish and Dom. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Oh, what a show we have. We're back. We're reviewing albums from the whole of the June. So we've been listening all month, and we're here ready to deliver our ratings for your listening pleasure. No, take that back, for our listening pleasure. And this is how it's going to work. It's going to be a battle of the bands. You know, which one will we buy? We rate them out of 5, and will they eventually get into our wonderful Hall of Fame? Will they get into our hallowed end of the year album review show? Okay, without further ado, we have got power metal gods tonight, because today's battle is Gloryhammer and Return to the Kingdom of Fife, where they may find young Angus, and they're up against the Front Row Warriors and their album The Wheel of Fortune. Dun dun dun, 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 dun. So right, well, let's start with our aficionados of power metal. Simon, let's start with you then. So, obviously, Gloryhammer, following from previous month with Angus McFife, and there's a bit of backstory there, isn't there? So, why don't you fill us in? Oh, actually, before you fill us in, shall I tell you a little bit about who Gloryhammer are? I think.
Shall I? Treat us.
Should I, guys?
You never do this. Go on.
I know Gloryhammer.
Let me know who they are.
Well,
Gloryhammer.
Funny enough,
Who are Gloryhammer?
They wield hammers, and they're just full of glory. There we go. And that sort of went. So British band, founded by keyboardist Christopher Bowes. He was the lead vocalist of. Come on. Hailstorm, that's right. Each member of the band represents a character in a story concept. The band appears on stage in armour and costumes to represent their respective characters. Going all thespian there, because why not? Anyway, on Journey, however, 30th of January, the band's official Facebook announced the album Legends from Beyond the Galactic Terror...
Legends from Beyond the Galactic Terror Vortex.
Terror Vortex.
Fantastic name. I loved it. It was great.
Which was released on May the 31st, 2019. The band released 2 singles, Gloryhammer and The Siege of Dunkeld, through Napalm. The following albums released the band's first North American tour headlines in June, and they had Aether Realm as support on that one. However, in 2021, Gloryhammer announced that Thomas Winkler had exited the band, and Winkler addressed the situation, stating he was fired via an email, cited the band's reasons for his departure as disagreements on business and organisational matters. Simon,
how's that interdimensional power metal?
Who wants to tell me more? Well, let's
surely just
it's a soap opera, guys. It's not just theatre on stage; it's theatre behind the stage, isn't it? Now, Will and Simon should be Gloryhammer aficionados. Who wants to tell the story here?
I think this is too nice of a place to go through the very, very months-long controversy that happened post that. There were disagreements, internal controversy between the band members, and inappropriate conversations and things that were not happy that were brought to the surface. And it's stuff that we should definitely not go into on a nice family-friendly podcast like this. It was,
we swear, for God's sake.
It was worse.
And this, and I clearly put this YouTube as not for kids, so it's absolutely fine. Come on, give us the goss, William.
Oh, no.
No?
No, it was... Yeah, no. There were WhatsApp chats, people being not great, saying things brought to the surface after he was forcefully removed from the band for invalid reasons. And yeah, it was just a bit dumb.
And then, of course, he brings out an album from Angus McSix, calls himself Angus McSix, brings out an album which we reviewed just last month, which was even more controversial. This is like so bizarre. It's fantastic, isn't it? Anyway, well, let's get on with the music. Let's go. If you want to find out more, you can Google it and it'll come out and tell you. So let's start with Simon. Simon, now, you quite enjoyed Angus McFife's previous album. How did this match up to it? I mean, it's obvious we're going to compare. So, I mean, Gloryhammer not only have to battle last month with Angus McSix, but they're also going to have to battle here Front Row Warriors as well. So, let's have your opinion on this one.
I feel like I'm in a really awkward position with this album because we've been through this before as well, where this lead singer changes. You know, with like, and for me personally, with like Nightwish and Camelot, life happens, things change, but shifting vocalists for a band really does alter that band's sound, and I can't decide if Gloryhammer has come through this transition unscathed. The new singer is good. His style's a bit different, and that's expected. But it is a bit of like a Ship of Theseus discussion with the band at this point, or Trigger's Broom if you prefer, or Sugar Babes is probably more relevant. It's because of the modern version.
No,
of it,
absolutely. I wasn't expecting it, but the analogy is fine.
But if you set that aside for a moment and I try to review the album just on its own merits without sort of referring it to the other bands and the things that's going on around it, then it was great fun. The intro track is still as unnecessary as ever, but that's just a pet peeve of mine. And the Holy Flaming Hammer of Unholy Cosmic Frost is a smashing opener, very Vulcan-esque, which Will might get. But is it just me, or is the music lacking bass? I felt that's more of an editing issue. I've listened to it in a couple of different places on my headphones and in the car and stuff, and it just sounds like there's something slightly out with the sound composition. It lacks that kind of like oomph behind it, but I think it's more of I think it's more of an editing issue than anything. But it just doesn't have that usual sort of rumble sound to it that I'd expect with metal. Again, I mean, maybe it is the band themselves, maybe it's the drummer isn't hitting the bass hard enough, but it could just be my take on it. But yeah, the album was fun. I'll go with that.
Fair enough. William, Gloryhammer.
Hello.
Now, this is going to be quite interesting because
opinions.
You'd be a massive fan of Gloryhammer. So.
I was formerly, they were my probably third favourite band, formerly. I was utterly in love with this band. And part of it, as we've all said, was the singer. The former vocalist, to me, just had such a unique voice in power metal. It wasn't just, your generic, look at me, I'm a high-pitched singing man, I can sing power metal, blah, 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 which is what every other single band does. Like, it's very impressive, but when everyone's doing it, singing that same just high-pitched operatic voice, it just loses its flair to it. If you listen to 5 power metal albums, 5 different singers all doing that same kind of singing, suddenly you're like, maybe it's not actually that impressive. Maybe anyone could do it. Obviously, they can't. But Gloryhammer, it's still a Gloryhammer album. Like, you can listen to it even if it's different vocalists. You can still tell it's the same stupid story going on. It's still the story of Angus McSix Angus McFife against the evil wizard Zargothrax and his machinations. Still fighting goblins. Sword Lord of the Goblin Horde, which is a hilarious name. I heard them shout at the beginning. I did just burst out laughing when I heard it, because it's just goblins, isn't it? Every single one of their albums has something to do with goblins straight up, because it's, Angus McFife's second greatest enemy is hordes of goblins and the Goblin King. It ends the album in classic Gloryhammer fashion still, with a track with just a needlessly long name. Malefictus Geminus Colossus Matrix 38B Ultimate Invocation of the Binary Thaumaturge, which I still love. It's just ridiculous. It's stupid. It's just funny. I don't hate it, and I feel like all the reasons I dislike it are because my brain's telling me not to like it, because it's not the same as what I had before. it's still a really good album in my opinion. Still better than most other power metal albums we've heard. They know how to make music, they know how to write good songs, they had comedy into it. It's still a good album, but I still have this nagging feeling in the back of my head saying that you're not allowed to like it because this is all the things they did. Haha, they're not good people because they got rid of the guy I liked. Ooh, I'm not allowed to like them now.
Sounds like you're being sucked in by the Goblin King, mate. There we go. So, yeah.
Nigel, the goblins have a horrible influence on all people, and they get their wicked little claws into you, and you try and sway your opinions. But
well, let's find out then if they've got their little paws into our rock chick queen here, Trish. Trish, have the goblins got their claws into you? How did you find Gloryhammer?
Okay, so I found that it was a very dramatic orchestral opening track with the incoming transmission. I felt I should have been in a cinema, as it had that theatrical sound that warrants the whole surround sound experience. What follows is a full-on hit-you-in-the-face power metal concept album with everything thrown into it, with choirs, goblin voices, synthesised voices, relentless drumming and high-pitched guitar riffs galore. I really enjoyed, Sword of the Goblin Horde.
I didn't say it was a bad song, I just said it's a hilarious name. That's all I'm saying. It's just a fun name.
The album seemed to fly past before I knew it. After 10 tracks, 48 minutes long, I was at the end of the album, finishing how it started. It's worth many more listens if you want to be transported to the land of Dundee.
Now let's go and finish off with the greatest fan of power metal music that's ever walked our hallowed halls of MPJ. Dom, bit of Gloryhammer, bit of power metal. Surely ticked your boat, did it?
Of course. Hey, look, we're all nerds here, aren't we? Right? We're nerds. We can own that up. So, who's not gonna love an album with songs like "The Holy Flying Hammer of Unholy Cosmic Frost"? It's magnificent. I was slightly transported to thinking that I was watching Monty Python. This is like the Knights Who Say Knee. Does anybody else get that vibe? There's a bit of that kind of gallop going along in there.
100%.
Totally. But hey, it's fun, isn't it? If you can take it on a kind of slightly camp, slightly fun, very fun.
Very camp. Very camp.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say very camp. It was slightly camp. Lots of fun, just, running around, waving, rubber swords and stuff. You're there, aren't you? It's amazing. I have to say, for me, I think the joke did wear out by the time of Sword Lord of the Goblin Horde, which is terrible. But apart from that... And I agree, and also the first track, the incoming transmission. Whatever. But anyway, yeah, I actually enjoyed myself. Nige, are you proud of me?
I am, mate. I told you I'd be taking you on a journey. I told you that you're going to go down dark paths. I
was driving home from work, doing this as I was driving along. Great fun.
That gives, let's face it, that gives you listening pleasure, doesn't it? And this is what it's all about, isn't it? You might not go back to that album again, but while it's on and you're listening to it, it is what it is. Okay, what do I think? What did I think of Gloryhammer? Oh, for God's sake. I am starting to lose my will to live, okay? To be perfectly frank, this is like... I've come to the conclusion that I don't like slapstick power metal. I just don't. I just, it doesn't... I like to be transported to that land, and this doesn't really do it. I'm a nerd, but I just, it's just a piss take, really. I feel it's piss taking what I love the most. Not I don't know. It was all right. It was a bit of fun. I don't think I lasted quite as long as you, Dom, in my loving it. And I think I'm getting a bit despair. And you're right, Simon. I kind of like more bass to my metal. And there's a lot of really amazing bands going that way. So when I compare out there, to be honest with you, this was a poor album, really. It wasn't a poor album. It was just not my cup of tea. I am starting to, you guys brought me into the world of power metal, and I fell in love with it. And now I'm starting to think to myself, is there hope? Is that what is left out there? Is there hope? Can something please, please restore my faith in power metal, because it's not this shite. It's not. It's just awful. I mean, yeah, didn't enjoy it. Didn't like it. Not my cup of tea. I certainly wouldn't listen to Gloryhammer again. And to be honest with you, it was nowhere near as good as Angus McFight. I mean, Angus. I know, Dom, you obviously weren't on. You didn't review Angus last month, but at least that was a bit cleaner and a little bit more to it. But this was a parody a bit too far for me, if I'm honest with you. But there we go. So right, well, who are they up against? Front Row Warriors restore the faith or bring back power metal. Who knows? A Wheel of Fortune. So, who are Front Row Warriors? They're fairly new, guys. Founded in 2019 in Stuttgart by JG. At least that's easy to pronounce. From drums, from Shining and Sharon. This was not Elke G on vocals, and Sharon or Sorin Badin, the well-known Romanian guitarist. Have you all heard of him? He's from Cardinal, Samsara, Crystal Maze, under the name Front Row Warriors, and reaches current formation in 2020 with the addition of Richie Sebel on keyboards and Timo Michaels on bass. And in summer 22, guitarist Steph Binin Glup joined the band. The band's goal is to take the audience on a musical journey through the area of hard rock and metal of the past 30 years to create catchy hook lines and outstanding guitar and keyboard work. And each member of the band represents one of the various styles of influences that make up the sound of Front Row Warriors. Now, interestingly, the results impressive. In 2021, the band was chosen as Germany's best hard rock act by the German Rock and Pop Musicians Association. So, Will, then, had you heard about this new wonderful band coming out of Germany, Front Row Warriors? And
I don't really know. I don't really know why they were voted the best, to be honest, because this left a lot to desire for me. It's just an album, isn't it? It's one of those times when I've listened to it, right, and I've not picked out anything in particular that stands out as being good. Nothing's hugely offensive to me. I've heard so many albums that, to me, just sound like this before. And it's, like I've said so many times, this sort of like power metal, heavy metal, sort of that cross every genre is so polluted by so much already that you need to do something really special to actually stand out. Which is, why bands like Gloryhammer, Angst have done so, because they are something so different. Just silly, campy, stupid stuff. But this, to me, it's just another female-fronted thing in the same way as most other female vocalists do in these bands. I couldn't get into it. It's just an album. Yeah, they wrote an album. Well done. Nicely done.
Wow.
Hats off.
Okay, Trish, how about this? What did Front Row Warriors do for you?
Well, I thought this was a very good old-school hard rock album with lots of melody. Yes, we've heard something like this from other bands, but still the sound and the production were good, and certainly the singers and the musicians perform well. It's an album that put me in a good mood, which is always a bonus. It's solid and is a good listen, especially for a debut, and I look forward to what is to come in the future from this band.
Cool. Dom, what did you think?
First of all, Rammstein are from Germany, aren't they? Creator are German, aren't they?
Yeah, best new German hard rock band. Best new.
Electric Callboy are from Germany.
Okay, fair enough. What do I think it is? Actually, I think it. I like the sound of the guitars. I liked the music. That I really don't like that type of vocal style. Nothing against female rock metal singers, but it's that kind of slightly the Euro accented high pitch. It just doesn't do it for me. I'm kind of with Will as well. I listened to the whole album, couldn't really remember anything from it. It was a bit of a blur. But yeah, it did have its moments of hard edginess, which I kind of like. I want a bit of power. The bass was in there a lot more than in Gloryhammer. Absolutely, the bottom end was rocking, certainly. But yeah, I would say, forgettable but enjoyable-ish at the time. For the first kind of 10 seconds before the vocals came in, and then I got a bit bored.
Okay, Simon.
Sorry.
Wow, at least the intro track had dialogue this time, so that's 1 point for Front Row Warriors. But then they had a mid-album breathy, screamy track, so minus a point. But Chasing Shadows has a kick-ass opening, so I'll give the point back. And the track Fantastic does have a phenomenal solo, but I kind of agree. Like, it sounds like a fairly sort of, I guess, normal 80s power metal album. It didn't sound dated, which was nice, but I can't tell you why. Maybe it's because the singer isn't trying to shatter glass, or the guitar isn't performing technical alphabetical chord shenanigans, but it did sound good, which is a really backhanded compliment, I know, but usually I don't like this kind of album, and I did enjoy it. I think I agree in the sentiment of it wasn't super memorable, nothing super exciting on it, but I did enjoy it.
Power metal is back. I can't believe this rocking album is absolutely fantastic. She is out of this world, guys. Out of this world. This album had everything I love. It had great vocals, bass guitar, riffs right through it. It was brilliant. My faith in power metal restored. Thank you, Front Row Warriors. Absolutely magic. I mean, Hell Invaders, Wheel of Fortune, Fantasia. The album was full of great stuff. I mean, I particularly I think I've definitely got a bent towards female kind of power metal. I think I'm preferring the female vocalist to the male vocalist at this minute in time. I definitely have a bent towards that. Don't ask me why. It just speaks to me soul. It just talks to me. I adore this album. Absolutely fantastic. Best thing I've heard in a power metal kind of genre, for a while. It just ticks all my boxes. Lots of variety, lots of difference in there. Yes, a little bit of power 80s metal, but more obviously up to date, I thought, as well. I loved it. I absolutely adore this album. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It ticked all of my boxes when I want to listen to our power metal album, and the variety and the interest in and the musicality of it. And I loved her vocals. Absolutely loved her vocals. Don't get me wrong, you're not up there with Visions of Atlantis, etc., but I absolutely loved it, and I loved the style, and I can't wait to hear more. Brilliant album. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. There we go. Love this show! Such a variety of opinions that we kind of have out there. So, absolutely. Wow, this is going to be a very, very interesting... an interesting battle at the end. Who will it be? Will it be Gloryhammer? Will it be Front Row Warriors? Dun dun dun. Okay, well, let's find out, shall we? Will any of them get to a Hall of Fame? They need the magic 20 marks, an average of 4 each. Will they get it? I somehow don't think so, but there we go. Simon, let's start with you then. Gloryhammer.
4.
4? Generous, 4 by the sound of it. There we go. William.
I've got to go 4 as well. Did.
That's quite poor, really, for you guys with a power. Let's be honest about it. It's disappointing. Trish.
3.
3. Dom.
I'm going to go 4. Yeah, I had so much fun.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you know what? I've got to say, when we're looking at that, and based on his previous experience and disillusionment with power metal, I was not expecting that. 2.5. Middle of the road for me. I suppose when I'm doing my review, you probably might have thought I was going to give it worse, but yeah, 2.5. Anyway, 12, 15, 17 and a half. Not a disaster. That's a good score. That's a good score. Probably sneak into our top 100 at somewhere along the lines. Okay, so Front Row Warriors then. William.
2.
2. Dom.
Yeah, 2. 2 as well.
Trish.
4.5.
4.5 from Trish. Simon.
3.5.
Ooh, 3.5.
Ooh,
Well,
spicy.
there's no shock. I haven't given one for quite a while. It's the big
Wow.
5, the big old
Whoa.
5. I'm just buy everybody a paddle now. I'm going to buy a 5 paddle for everybody. Here we go. Wave it around. 5 for me. Absolutely loved that album. Loved it. Okay, so 7.5, 10.5, 12, 16. 18. But I would buy Front Row Warriors. Will would buy Gloryhammer. Simon would buy Gloryhammer. Trish would buy Front Row Warriors. And Dom would buy Gloryhammer. I've never expected you to be buying Gloryhammer album. So Gloryhammer. Well, it's bizarre. Really. It's a bit of a split here. It could be a tie because Front Row Warriors get the overall mark, but ultimately, in terms of Battle of the Bands, it comes down to who would we buy, and as a group, we would buy the Gloryhammer. But solid scores for both albums. Obviously, different people enjoy different things, and that's good. Well done to both Gloryhammer and Front Row Warriors. And that's it. Welcome, thank you to my panel. And please, everybody listening out there, please like and subscribe our channel. Go to our Facebook page, and you'll see a whole lot of reviews, loads of interviews with some of the bands that we review. That's on there. So please go to our channel, like and subscribe, and we will keep bringing you all the latest album reviews. Thank you very much. Thank you to my panel, to Simon, to William, to Trish, and to Dom.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody, and keep on rocking.